This video of the Getting Started with Clooz series will cover how Clooz can work with external databases associated with other genealogical programs. These capabilities are major new features in Clooz version 3. Before getting into this feature in Clooz, let's take a look at an example of an external database. In this example, I'm going to look at a legacy database. In most of the pedigree-based genealogy programs, an identification number is provided for each person. Here in legacy, it is a record identification number referred to as a RIN. These numbers are always assigned by the program, but sometimes options are provided to regenerate or fill in missing numbers. Sometimes you need to configure the program options to display RINs where you would like. Notice in my display there is no number appearing in the family display for the person. I'll go to the Options menu, Customize Menu Item, under the View tab, and select RINs, and save that change now. As you can see, the RINs now appear by the names in Legacy. When I bring up a person's detailed information in Legacy, there are fields at the bottom to enter a user ID, ancestral file number, or family search ID. We'll see these types of identification used later when we return to Clooz. The RootsMagic program is similar, where RINs can be configured to be displayed for each person. I'm going to use the Tools menu, File Options. Here I can select the number to display after a name. I'll select RIN and click OK. As you can see, the RINs now appear with the names. Let's go back to Clooz. Using the Help menu, Clooz Help, I can call up the Clooz user manual. Under People and Businesses, linking people in Clooz to other programs, I'll scroll down to a table that summarizes the various numbers available to Clooz in the databases that Clooz 3 can interface to. Anytime data is imported from an external file or database, these numbers are recorded by Clooz. Notice the 3 family tree programs Clooz imports data from, in addition to the standard GenComp files. We get a lot of questions about importing from Family Tree Maker. Unfortunately, Ancestry.com does not provide open access for other programs to read data from their database. In the meantime, GenComp is the only option for Family Tree Maker users. I'll make one additional comment that relates to data from the master genealogist. You should be aware that we are obtaining data from their database using a tool provided by Holy Genes, the master genealogist developers. We are grateful to them for providing their GenBridge tool, which saved us considerable development effort. Okay, back on the main screen of Clooz. You probably noticed the External File Links button at the bottom of the Explore bar. This is your gateway to interfacing to your other databases. You can see the 3 programs listed we have just discussed, and you can also see the option here to merge data from another Clooz database. When you merge a Clooz database, unlike all the other programs listed, all of the data is merged, including documents, links to images, whatever. This is because data in Clooz is so heavily linked to other data within the database. It becomes difficult to draw the line between what to merge and what not to merge. So for now at least, it is everything. You always have the option of making a copy of a Clooz database file, and within the copy, delete various items you do not want to merge. Before we proceed into the Data Transfer Manager to import some data, Let's look up here at the main grid area after the external file links button has been pressed. Notice 2 external files are listed here. Anytime Clooz interfaces to an external file, it is added to this list. In fact, if we double-clicked on one of these, it would reopen the connection in the Data Transfer Manager. Note the column telling us how many people in our database we have linked to the external database. The term linking here means that we are maintaining a record of the RIN for that person. It also lists the last time we connected to that file. Each time we connect to a file, any changes in the RIN numbering within the other database will be updated in our own Clooz database. You can see that the legacy database on line 1 in this list is shown in bold font type. This signifies that it is designated as the primary file. Being the primary file means that the identification numbers from this database will be the ones displayable on the people and source lists. Now let's go back to the people's list and see this in action. The Clooz ID is Clooz's own numbering scheme for each person. It is entirely under the control of Clooz. In Clooz version 2.1, an alternate ID field was provided for users to enter values identifying a particular person in other databases or paper files. Now, in version 3, if you have imported data from another database and have designated a primary file, you now have the option to display additional identification numbers. I will right-click the mouse anywhere on this grid and a menu will appear. In the bottom section of this menu are the selections of what can be displayed on the screen. We are already displaying the toolbar and grouping area, which you see at the top of the window. We are also displaying the alternate ID. There are very few alternate IDs in this particular database I am using, so I'm going to turn off the display of the alternate ID column by clicking to toggle the check mark in front of it. And I'm going to now do the same thing to turn on the display of the RINs from our legacy database that I designated as the primary file. As you can see, the RIN numbers now appear for the persons we have linked to that database. We could also choose to display the other available identification numbers using the same method. The key thing to remember in using this capability is that you must first designate a primary file in the external file list, and only one external base can be primary at a time. You can change the designation of primary file as often as you wish, although each time you change it, the column configuration here on the people list may need to be adjusted. Once you configure the grid a certain way, it remains that way until you change it. Before we proceed to the Data Transfer Manager, I just want to show one other quick thing regarding a person's IDs. If you double-click on a person to get their Details window, under the File Links tab is a list of the RINs you have for each person. It is possible they could have more than one RIN if you have them linked to more than one external file. Now that you have an idea of how external links can be used, let's see how you enter them. I'll click again on the external file links and choose to work with a legacy database. The first step is to select the actual database file. The Data Transfer Manager then opens and reads in all the people and sources from that database. The right side of this window is a list from my Clooz database. The left side is a list from the legacy database I just selected. I can change the type of records to display between people and sources by clicking on the record type here in the center of the window. To display information about a person in either database, right-click on the person and select Show Details. You will then see any available birth, marriage, and death information. To import a person or persons into Clooz, Select the various people by clicking on the checkbox for their row. You can also use the buttons at the top here to select all or clear all checkboxes. The external database side also has a button to refresh the data. That is, to reread all the data to ensure that any changes made to the legacy database while you're there working in Clooz can still be captured. You can also use the standard Shift mouse and Control mouse combinations to select a range of rows or group of individual rows. Just make the selections and then right-click to have the selection show up as marked in the checkboxes. I'm just going to select one name now for demonstration purposes. I'll click on the checkbox for Rudolf Hoch. Next, I'll click on the Import button to begin the import process and give it the authorization to proceed. The status of the operation is displayed at the top of the window, which now says Data Import Completed. Indeed, if we scroll down to Rudolf Hoch in the Clooz database side, we can see that he is now in the Clooz database with his RIN number from Legacy. Now suppose I have a person in my Clooz database that I know is already in my Legacy database. How do I link the records? Look here at the record for Pierce Hoch. On the Legacy side, I see he is listed with a RIN of 639. By clicking in the RIN box, it goes into edit mode, and I can just go ahead and type 639. The records are now linked. So what about the export function? As you might guess, it works exactly the same way. Set the checkboxes for the desired people on the Clooz side and press the Export button. The ability to export data is currently only available for Legacy. Other programs will be supported as cooperative agreements are established with their vendors. Importing and exporting sources works the same way as it does for people. At the present time, persons, including the vital data summary associated with them, and sources are the only data transferred. I'll press the Close button to return to the main Clooz window. You can see the file we accessed has been added to the list of external files. Well, we have covered a lot of information in this video. The Clooz user manual has a thorough description of the same operations I've just demonstrated. Give it a look. Between this video and the manual, you're well on your way to being able to have Clooz fully working with your other database records. Be sure to view the other videos that explore the various features of Clooz. Thanks for watching.